Hello my friends, Happy New Year and welcome to another video. If you are new here, my name is Chris. Welcome to the channel. We are starting the new year off with our first video. We're starting it off with some Invisaligns, so ignore any of the slurring. It is New Year's Day. I was off of work this week, so I have a bunch of kind of disjointed vlog style footage for you that I thought it might be fun to present action news style. In our first story, we went to a craft market at the famous War Memorial Auditorium here in South Florida. Now, if you're not familiar with this place, that's because it's only famous because all of us graduated high school there in the 90s and early 2000s. I went to this market hoping that it could possibly be a prospective market for this coming year. As you can see here, it is so crowded. I wanted to walk through and actually vlog booths and things like that, but it was so crowded I couldn't even take out my camera when I was walking through. And you might be thinking that it's a good thing that it's crowded, meaning lots of customers, lots of purchases, but we knew someone who was vending at this market and she said that she barely made booth feedback and it wasn't really that great. So unfortunately, this is not going to be one of the markets on our list for this year. In other news, I went on a camping trip with my friend Amber. It was in a dark zone, so our evenings looked like this. We went on a little hike and spent a lot of the day crocheting by the fire. I highly recommend crocheting as an activity at a campsite. Just be sure to put something down on the ground so that if you accidentally drop your project, it does not get dirt all over it. Our big story today comes from the craft room. I am working on the craft room right now, so I thought I would take you along with me. So as I showed you before in my kind of craft room slash shared office space with Mr. Skane, I had my 8 to 5 work desk and I have since moved that out of here. This is where the desk used to be, and what I was originally thinking I wanted to do with this space is put in a couple of kind of drawer units and be able to set on top of that a printer, and I have just gotten a cutting machine for Christmas. I was just looking at some from Amazon that are very similar to IKEA type items. The options weren't great, and Mr. Skane came up with the idea of getting something a little bit different. So I'm going to go ahead and roll in what we decided to get. I decided to go with a tool chest. Some of the reasons behind this are that number one, it's a really nice height to work at, and number two, it's just a ton of storage. Sir, are you helping? Can you move, please? Can you back up? Decided to go with the Caesar Juliet. Ooh. Welcome to the future of making. Yes, I know. I love you. I do. I love it because you have stinky breath. You can't eat the cardboard, sir. 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 Sir, you cannot eat packaging. We had this conversation earlier today. It's been a couple days, and now that this beautiful printer and cutter are set up on my lovely toolbox, I figure it's time to talk a little bit about why I have these things and what the plan is for them. So maybe a fun fact, but back in the early 2000s, I actually had the original Cricut cutting machine. This is the one that you did not connect to a computer, and the only way that you could cut stuff was if you had a cartridge for it. So there were like Disney cartridges and letter cartridges and all sorts of things. And believe you me, I had many cartridges, but I really enjoyed using it. I really enjoyed paper crafting. I was doing really elaborate scrapbooks and card making and all sorts of things. And that was kind of the hobby that I spent most of my time on. Somewhere along the line, I decided I was spending too much time on these hobbies and eventually let all of them go. I think I was focused more on my career and all this kind of stuff and just kind of let them go. And I didn't really have any true crafty hobby after that for a long time. Fast forward to a few years ago when I first picked up the crochet hook, and my reason for doing that was I just wanted a hobby that didn't involve staring at a computer screen or a television screen. I felt like I was falling into doom scrolling and stuff like that, and I just wanted something that I could kind of unplug and unwind with. I never expected crochet to inspire me as much as it has, to like ignite that creative flame that I put out a really long time ago. I mentioned in my goal video that I keep lists of different ideas and things like that. And there have been many times where I wanted to create something, but I just didn't have the tools or the equipment to do so. And that's why I decided to go ahead and, you know, take the leap and invest in these things, because not only can I use them for scratching that creative itch, but I can also use them for certain things when it comes to the business. Some of the ideas that I have that could tie it into crochet are things like, you know, if I want to bring eyes to a market to sell to other crocheters, then I can make backings for them. I have ideas for packaging and things for some of the crochet tools that I'm thinking about doing. So there are a lot of different ways that I can use this. Signage for sure, because I had that issue at my last market with humidity, because it was just on plain basic paper versus being able to print something, maybe laminated, print on vinyl. So yeah, I have all kinds of ideas of ways that I can use these things both for crochet and not crochet. So my plan is to share with you all of the information on how I'm using these tools when it comes to crochet. If you're interested in hearing how I use them for other hobbies, let me know. I just know that the focus of this channel is crochet, so I don't want to stray too far from that, but I do plan on using them for lots of different things. And then additionally, the storage is super helpful. The drawers are super deep, and I have some ideas on utilizing, especially this thin drawer here, for some sort of kind of almost packing setup. My thought was that if I do want to try to post a little bit more on Instagram or even, you know, short form YouTube content, then one of the things that I could do is just video myself packing up orders. But I don't really have the best space for that. I would have to pop up the pop-up table to do that and everything. But what I'm thinking is there may be a way I can, you know, mount my canvas lamp up to this and have it where I can pull this drawer out and have like my stickers and things that I use for packaging, so that I could film myself putting stuff together and maybe do things like that. Obviously, I'll use this for storage of some of the materials for the cutter and for the printer, like paper and things like that. I wasn't able to try the cutter out right away. The mat that came with it was damaged, and I didn't want to feed it through the machine because I wasn't sure what would happen. But I did pick one up at Michael's yesterday, so I'm going to do a quick little test cut and we'll see how it comes out. But yeah, I'm really excited for the opportunity to be able to use this. I feel very blessed that I'm able to afford to do this, and really excited for what may come out of these tools. So this is an absolute disaster where I keep my Bernat. I didn't notice it until I was watching the footage back of me talking about why I got the cutter and stuff. So I'm going to take a few minutes to get that straightened out, just cleaned up a little bit. It's not going to be perfect, but at least it'll be something. Okay, it's not beautiful, but it's better, question mark. We're leaving it alone. Not even crocheting with it, and I'm covered in fluff from. Excuse the hair, we are air drying at the moment, but I want to make some stickers. So let's try to make some stickers for the first time. my gosh, I'm so excited. They actually came out really good. There's a little janky spot on my toolbox right here. I don't think the camera can see it. I'm going to cover it with the sticker. It was also time to take down the holiday decorations, so I went ahead and did that as well.
We interrupt your regularly scheduled programming for this important announcement.
I just wanted to come on here really quickly because I am kind of freaking out. In Karen from Yarn and Whimsy's most recent video, she gave a huge shout out to the channel, and you know, I try not to watch my subscriber count and obsess over analytics or anything like that, but I went back in there and my subscriber count has just grown exponentially since that. And yeah, Karen, if you're watching, I can't thank you enough for all of your support. Yeah, I just wanted to say thank you, and thank you to everyone who has subscribed. I've gotten a lot of cool comments and messages from new folks who discovered the channel because of that. And I'm super grateful. So I just wanted to say thank you. Karen doesn't know it yet, but she is officially my crochet bestie. That's it. We're best friends. I may not be hers, and that's okay. But that's it. It's official. I'm making it official right now.
You're my best friend. That's it.
We now return you to your regularly scheduled programming.
All right, so I wanted to show you what I ended up doing over here. So I've got my canvas lamp set up here so that I can swivel it out. And this drawer here is set up so that it's got my background that I use for filming my packing videos and even just some of my makes and things like that. So I can lower the canvas lamp and be able to set my phone up here and take video of me packaging things. Not only that, this kind of acts as a little packing station. So I've got my scale here so I can weigh things, and then in the very next drawer I have my supplies for packing orders. So I've got my tissue paper, and then I've got my stickers. Inside this notebook is basically a sticker pack for each order. So I already kind of have it pre-set up with my thank you card and the stickers that I use to seal everything. That way it's all ready to go quickly when I need to pack an order. And then I've got my protective plastic that I put my plushies in. So yeah, it's just a nice little setup so that I can package orders here. My boxes are still in the cabinet. I didn't want to take up a bunch of drawer space for those, but I'll just grab a box, come over here, take out what I need, and then pack it here, and I can videotape that and go ahead and use it for shorts or Instagram. For our final craft room update, we go live to our reporter on the scene. Yeah, this is Chris live here in the craft room. Let's take a quick look at where we are at. Our blanket yarn storage has been cleaned up, but this is going to be an ongoing effort. And then if we pan over here, we've got our printer and cutter, as well as our little packing station and ability to film said packing. We've got our cake wall over here. There's some tchotchkes going on these shelves. There's work in progress right now, so this desk is looking a little messy, but that's something that's going to get addressed shortly. And then if we pan over here, we've got, again, some tchotchkes. Let me zoom in here and show you some of the makes that are on this shelf. Most of these are makes that you have already seen. We've got a new fella over here, the Wendigo. That was purchased from Yarn and Whimsy, and he was doing a plushie drop, so we were able to snag that guy, who is really awesome. And then we've got over here our vision board, which does need an update for this year. Panning over to our primary yarn wall, which has all of our chenille yarn, our fluffy yarn, and our velvet yarns, as well as newly cleaned up eye storage. If we can take a look at this for a moment here. So all eyes that have been painted or purchased are on this nice little display, as well as any eyes that need to be painted. These labels were made with the Munbin printer. And so that's all nice and organized. When it's time to paint, we'll just grab those eyes and head out and get those painted. As you can see, this is going to be an ongoing work in progress, so we'll be sure to come out here and give you regular updates. Coming to you live from the craft room, this is Chris. I'll send it back to you in the studio. Thanks for that update, Chris. Now let's talk about this week's makes. For a good while, I was dying to try the Crochet Grove Shelf Goose pattern. But you're probably thinking to yourself, Chris, you're not a shelf goose kind of gal. And you would be right. I am not a shelf goose kind of gal. But the moment I saw this pattern, I thought dragon. And I knew that was going to take a little time, so I wanted to do it when I was really in the mood to crochet, and it so happened to fall on this week when I had lots of spare time to work on that. So I decided to crochet the shelf goose as a dragon. This is the first one that I made, and this is made with Juicy Couture yarn. And the black is Naughty Pony, the same yarns that I was using on the Cardinal last week. But I basically just added features to make it a dragon. This is literally the pattern as written up until the point of where you would close up for the little goose tail. I used every part of the pattern. So the feet are the same feet from the pattern. These are actually the wings that I used as kind of a chunky thigh. And then of course I added all of the other bells and whistles to make this a dragon. Now, when I was done with this one, the one thing that I wished I had done was almost make this pointing forward in a way to kind of look like he's crouching and about to jump down. So I worked on that for the second one. And I actually reached out to Crochet Grove to see if they're okay with me putting these modifications out on Instagram. I don't see why they wouldn't be okay, because it's just going to hopefully drive some folks to buy the pattern that maybe wouldn't have bought the pattern because they're not into a goose. But this is the second one that I made. This is made with Naughty Pony yarn, and then a yarn that I get from Amazon I did as the accent color. And for this one, I just kind of tried to make sure I got that tail to angle forward a little bit. And I thought it made him look a little bit more, you know, ready to pounce on his little perch here. But again, basically just added dragon features, ears, horns, some nostril action, 2 front feet, wings, and then I did, you know, just kind of a scallop up to the tip here for the tail. So I do want to mention that I am not the first one to have done this. I was watching Cheerful Chaos Crafts a while back, and they did the same thing. They transformed the goose pattern into a dragon. I already had the idea in mind, and I even commented on their channel like, I was going to do the same thing, and now you've given me the confidence to do so because now I know it's going to come out okay. But yeah, in this pattern, that's what I saw. I saw a dragon. So that was my attempt for this week. I'm really happy with how it came out. I'm hoping to hear back from Crochet Grove to see if they're okay with me posting that. If not, that's essentially what I did. It's fairly straightforward. These are the basic chain out and back wings. For these, I just did a magic ring of 6, did some increases, came down, and I crocheted flat here, and then just kind of embroidered on, you know, all the details there. So it's nothing crazy. If they're not okay with it, that's fine, but I just really wanted to do it for me more than anything. But yeah, I'm super happy with how these came out. I love this Juicy Couture yarn. I'm kind of glad I didn't discover it when Joanne was still around, because I would have been really sad to see it go. I have a little bit in this color and some green, and that was all they had that I got on clearance, but it was a very expensive yarn. So I'm kind of glad I wasn't hooked on it before. I have been seeing everybody's videos with Elise Voluto, and it's very tempting, but I need to work down a lot of my stash before I'm going to allow myself to do that. And with those makes, that concludes our broadcast for today. If you enjoyed the video, please do give it a thumbs up. If you have not subscribed already, I would really, really appreciate you doing so. We are closing in on that 1,000 mark, and I'm super, super excited for that. As always, thank you so much for watching. Stay classy, crocheters, and I will see you on the next one. Bye.